Are you a seed hoarder like I am? I have so many seed packets that I both purchased and saved from previous seasons. But it never fails. Every year I add to my collection. And there's stuff that's getting pretty old, or I'm just never going to grow again. I'm looking at you, cauliflower. So let's talk about some creative ways that you can offload some of your seeds so you can make room for some more. While you're cataloging and organizing your seeds, why not take the time to sift through them and decide which ones you might be able to share with friends, family, or the community? For example, did you know that local libraries have way more than just books? And one of the extra programs many libraries have is what's called a seed library. Seed libraries are exactly what they sound like, and they're filled with goodies that are free to the public, many of those donated by members of the community. It's a super cool way to part with seeds that you no longer want or need while giving other local gardeners the opportunity to grow them. And you're also able to benefit from seed libraries by picking up some seeds for yourself. It's a really great program, and you might get to find some new stuff to grow next season. And if you end up not particularly liking one of the things that you get from a seed library, you can always just, donate it back to the library. And if you have a botanic garden in your area, check with them to see what their seed library situation is. Some botanic gardens and arboretums even have special events that are called seed swaps, where gardeners can come together and share different seeds with one another. It's a great opportunity to get some new seeds and to make some new gardening friends while you're at it. Local gardening clubs are another great option. Get plugged in to your local gardening community and reap the benefits. And just like any good party guest, don't come empty-handed. Bring some seeds for swapping. You never know who you might be helping and what crops you might end up bringing home with you. You can also check with community centers, food banks, or churches to see what kind of seed donation programs they might have. Give back to your community and make a difference through gardening. You won't regret it. Another really cool way that you can get rid of seeds that you don't need anymore is to give them one last hurrah as a cover crop. A cover crop is any plant you choose to grow broadly in a gardening space for the purposes of suppressing weeds, improving soil structure, or adding nutrients to the bed ahead of next growing season. And a lot of the most popular cover crops like alfalfa, annual ryegrass, or clover are grown simply to cover the bed, with no plans of harvesting and eating them as they grow. But did you know that just about any cool weather veg will make a great cover crop for your garden? Packets of cool weather crops often come with a lot of seeds, and that's because these seeds are super lightweight. And the idea is that you just broadcast a lot of seeds over the bed and then thin them out after they sprout. But when sown closely together and allowed to grow without thinning, root crops like radishes and turnips, and leafy greens like spinach, arugula, and lettuce are all fantastic cover crops. And the best news is, if you want to, you can still eat them. As your edible cover crops fill out, you can treat it as a cut and come again garden. And these plants grow so quickly and are sown so densely that you'll be able to get really good harvests of salad greens out of your cover crops without jeopardizing the coverage they're providing your growing space. And you don't have to eat them, but since you're growing it, at least it's an option. In addition to radishes and turnips, there are other members in the brassica family that also make great cover crops. But since cover crops are grown as transitional plants, you don't have to worry about growing them long enough for cabbage heads or broccoli florets to grow large enough to be harvested. You'll just be growing greens and then letting them die back when winter hits, which helps feed the soil, or bolt to the heat of summer, which invites beneficial pollinators to your garden just ahead of you planting your main crops. So instead of throwing out your seeds or inexplicably saving them in a box forever, sow them generously in a bed and let them benefit your garden as a cover crop. You can also use a good bit of these seeds to do some indoor gardening by sowing them into a tray and then growing yourself some microgreens. Microgreens are the brand new seedlings of crops, harvested about a week from germination, just as they're starting to show signs of true leaves. They're also absolutely packed with nutrition and super easy to grow. And I guarantee you, there are so many seeds that are taking up space in your seed box that are perfect for delicious microgreens. Pretty much any of your cool season crops can be grown as microgreens. Just like why they're great as cover crops, these plants grow super fast and don't need a lot of spacing. Other plants like peas, herbs like cilantro and basil, or even plants like sunflower and corn can all be grown as microgreens. To grow microgreens, all you need are seeds, a tray with some growing medium, some water, and a light source. Sow your seeds liberally across the soil, and in a couple days, your seeds will have germinated. Give them some light, keep them watered, and in as early as 1 week, you'll be ready for harvest. If you're interested in learning more, check out my video on microgreens linked in the description. It's a great primer for first-time microgreens growing, and it's a step-by-step process that takes you from seed to harvest. For this method of using up seeds, skip the nightshade family like tomatoes and peppers. Their leaves and stems are toxic and should not be used as microgreens. If you have an abundance of seeds from a certain type of plant, it's always safest to look it up and see if they can be grown as microgreens. But this is a fantastic way to get rid of some seeds that are maybe getting a little bit too old or you just have too many of. For the lazy gardener, which I can sometimes be, you can always just mix your old seeds together and toss them into a bed or a container and see what happens. Some refer to this as chaos gardening, but I like to think of it more as a battle royale. Only the strongest will survive. Okay, maybe battle royale is a bit intense. Let's call it choose your own adventure for your garden. And in some years, you might end up with a big pumpkin patch. Other years, you could have a beautiful cutting garden filled with colorful flowers. You never really know what you're going to end up with. It's like a volunteer garden on steroids. And it can be a really fun experiment. You might even find that your garden's structure changes from season to season. It might start off being dominated by root vegetables and leafy greens. Then, as the heat hits, your warm weather crops start to emerge and battle it out for space. The possibilities are limited only to the seeds that you throw into that growing space. So, if you have the room, consider giving it a shot and see what happens. The point is, seeds are meant to grow. Hanging on to them just because we don't want to get rid of them doesn't honor their purpose in the garden. So check out how you can share them with your community. Consider growing them as edible cover crops. Maybe use them for some indoor gardening by growing microgreens, or give them a final send-off in a garden they design for themselves. Just don't throw them in the bin. Find a way to put them to use. You may never grow them again, but you're giving them a noble conclusion. You're also making space for the next batch of goodies that you're going to order for next season. Happy growing!